All right, welcome to Vlog 39. It's been almost a month. It's because I've been not been feeling well, but most of that has been due to um, the benzo withdrawal that I've been going through. I finally got this all under management, thankfully. It still feels shitty, obviously. The more I look into benzo-induced neurological dysfunction, the more I realize I'm dealing with that. I have been dealing with that for several years, um, and some of this will cross over into what I want to talk about with chronic conditions or syndromes or whatever the case may be. The fluctuating nature of them. Like I still don't know if when I get off these meds whether the full symptoms of what I think is ME. This is why maybe it's gonna be over here this time. I don't know. I put the question mark after MEST because I don't know if I have myalgic encephalomyelitis. I just don't know anymore. It's so hard to pin down. Um, I had some fatigue earlier, and some days I have it, and some days I don't. So some of it could be when I days I don't, it's delayed, but it's never like a full on crash that's noticeable, anyways. Sometimes there was a period where I think I went off the benzos too quickly that it was a crash, or coinciding with a lot of other things. It's hard to know. But anyways, this vlog after that long preamble is you're never out of the woods. And what do I mean by that? I mean that there are a lot. It's not to, like, scare anybody, but you could be doing okay, better than you've been doing, and you could either all of a sudden have a relapse of symptoms, right? Or you could have overdone it because of life circumstances or circumstances you couldn't mitigate or obligations that you think you have. I used to play chess, and there was this chess player, Mikhail Tal, and he said, "You must take your opponent into a deep, dark forest where 2 plus 2 equals 5, and the path leading out is only wide enough for one." Now, that sounds like a pretty decent advice for someone who wants to recover, right? Things don't make sense. The person you're leading out is yourself. You want to make sure that you have a safe passage out of the scary forest that is chronic illness, right? But I look at it as going, what if I just stayed in the forest and got used to it, right? Like, I'm okay with just acclimating myself to these things that come up. I don't like them. I don't like the forest. Forests are scary, you know. But what if I just got used to it? And it's not about making my life smaller or being a minimalist. It's about saying to myself, well, what lessens and what heightens or makes me more susceptible to getting worse, and what lessens my chances of getting worse, right? So I take a lot of precautions against those things. A lot of it is not overdoing it. A lot of it's not overextending myself. A lot of it is saying no to shit, that I really want to do or would like to do. A lot of it is just stopping when I feel symptoms coming on for certain things, taking breaks when I need to. I mean, that's just effective pacing, right? But also a lot of it is being like, okay, my life does not look and going in the direction I thought I wanted it to go. I have to adjust, right? And some things, again, you can't. Like, if my dad died, I'm not going to go to his funeral, although I might not. I don't know. I don't want to be around a whole bunch of hacking people and crying people, and then I get myself sick, and then I get sicker. It's like, he's already dead. It's like, he can't get any sicker, But that's just the way my mind works. My fealty to obligation, social obligation, is basically nothing at this point. I haven't met a friend in 3 years, and I don't care to. You know, they don't take precautions, so I mean, they're going to put me at risk. Fuck them. you know, I'm not trying to. I'm not going to put them at risk. You know, I'm okay with the digital world the way it is. I don't feel any lonelier for it. I'm sure it's not doesn't have positive effects. But why am I bringing this up? Is bringing this up, and then this is not to point out anything, but so Diana Hayes, who I think goes by Physics Girl or whatever, I just want to read what she said. She says, and this was maybe a week ago. She says, I haven't been doing well. I've slowly and steadily declined since May, which is, I wonder if her father sadly passed. And it says, I'm back in bed most of the day. I suspect some of this has to do with the stress of losing my father this summer, but I also think I've been overdoing it. And the PM crash cycle is contributing to like the boom bust cycle. This is the worst crash I've had in 8 months, so that takes her to the beginning of the year, and the decline is very scary. Um, and then she followed that up a few days later saying, I'm telling myself I've improved before. I can do it again, but I'm having a hard time believing it myself. And yes, that is a very scary thing to think that, oh, this is my permanent baseline decrease, right? But I think also the opposite too. I think to myself, well, when I began improving at the end of 2022, for reasons I still don't know yet, and then I had like this prolonged period, I never thought to myself, "Oh, I'm going to go do more." I just thought to myself, the same thing, but in the opposite direction. Is like, wouldn't it be scary if I lost all this, right? Because it's very fragile, and so I think, I mean, it's not like a I told you so, or it's more of a lesson in how to manage these things because we're all going to like make mistakes because it's so unnavigatable, as the Mikhail Tal quote would suggest. It's the woods, it's the dark woods, it's the dark forest. We don't know where the fuck we're going. It's, you know, and to make sense of it is incomprehensible, and it's going to fluctuate too. Now, I hope she improves, but it's also should stick into your head that just because you've made improvements, it doesn't mean that you're going to keep them, right? And then the vice versa. Just because you're declining doesn't mean you're not going to crawl out of it, right? It goes both ways. But I've seen this way too often where people going, I'm doing better. And so they just go back sometimes to like their normal thing. And then they have like a setback and relapse, right? It's happened in the long COVID spaces so often that it's almost incomprehensible at this point that people don't get it through their heads that you can't do it, right? It just takes one reinfection. It takes one exposure to something that you didn't know that was going to be harmful to you, right? It takes one stressful life event, right? It takes just overdoing it just a bit, you know? And so in modern society, I know it's harder. Maybe maybe my constitution for those things are different. You know, I'm willing to I'm willing to stress my own self out by taking rigorous precautions against things. If it means that I can preserve whatever this is, you know, like right now in my room, I'm still sleeping on the floor again because I had to get rid of my mattress because I can't tolerate the fumes from it because of the chemical sensitivities. You know, I'm not going to sit there and subject myself to that. I'll sleep on the floor. It's fine. You know, I bought a $600 HEPA filter to filter out volatile organic compounds from the air, so I don't have to sit in that shit when it's humid and it rises from the carpets or the walls or off the other surfaces or something like that, or other things that are degassing. You know, I don't go outside that much because we live by the main road. If I do go outside, I go in the back, or I go to a park or something, and I don't do a lot of activity, other than like maybe mental stuff. But then I take breaks, and I give myself that grace. I don't go out anywhere. I don't try to. I try to minimize as much as possible. And it takes a lot of like, all the brain retraining stuff. The real brain retraining stuff, if I'm being honest, is to retrain your brain. And this really doesn't apply to like super severe people because like there's no way. I mean, they're already fucked anyways. I don't mean like they're not going to improve. What I'm saying is that they don't have to worry about not managing their activity. The disease is going to do it for them. But for people who are like on this like roller coaster ride of like, ooh, I'm getting better, I'm getting worse, I'm getting better, I'm getting worse. My baseline has increased, my baseline has decreased, my baseline has increased, my baseline has decreased. You have to get it into your head that you have to protect that little bit left, right? And like we're all impulsive, we all want to do things, right? That's the real brain retraining, is to learn to live within our means. It's almost like being a miser for energy, you know. rather than for money or something like that. Um, yeah, so that's pretty much all I have. I'm trying to keep these always at 10 minutes because I don't want to bore people to fucking tears, but it's also for my own edification as well, and my own sort of working through my own thought processes because, sometimes I also forget these things, and I also overdo it. But but I've been very fortunate still, and I don't know why. Maybe it'll remain relatively mild if I keep doing this. But I'm not going to blame myself either if it doesn't, because there are just sometimes some things that are outside of your control, So speedy recovery to Diana, um, but just be careful because the woods. You're just never, like I said, you're never out of the woods.